All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, June 1st, my birthday, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, what a day on Wall Street here. So James Bullard, ain't no party like a Bullard party. The biggest hawk on the entire FOMC basically came out and said some dovish stuff today. So essentially, it wasn't the most dovish thing he could have said, but the fact that he is the biggest hawk on Wall Street was a surprise to the upside for the market. Essentially, all he said really was, he basically put out a timeline like, hey, later this year, policy could change, we could meet our goals, etc. And he basically put a light at the end of the tunnel, essentially. And for the first time, he opened the door, the biggest hawk opened the door for a Fed pivot or a pause or, a Powell put, whatever you want to call it. That is now, the door got open, and you can see right here we sold off. And that's the other thing, too, is market really sold off pretty sharply into that. And it was on very light volume, by the way. It was all algo driven. So the market really kind of priced in Bullard to say the really most hawkish thing ever, and he didn't. He said the opposite. So market floated up on that, got a nice bid here around 230, and now consolidating bullish here as we get into the 3:30 time frame. It's 3:26 p.m. as I do this video right now. A couple of things here. Notice still, so spiders down 25 basis points. Triple Qs are flat, so down just 7 basis points. As we speak, actually turned positive a minute ago, and now just hovering just beneath the flat line. You can see Apple there poised for a push up there. So also Tesla, nice little pattern there. So we could get a little bit of a push into the close. But again, like I said yesterday, as long as the Qs are outperforming, I give the market kind of a neutral upside bias here. And same thing with the Russell. I really like this candle on the Russell today. Nice test candle, now green on the day. Look at the reversal here on the IWM intraday and continuing to push up here. And this was actually weak earlier on. As you can see the 1, 2, 3 sell-off there. Whereas, the spiders kind of consolidated a bit and the Qs kind of pushed up a little bit. The Russell kind of sold off immediately, but now it's leading. So I like to see the Russell lead. I like to see the Qs lead. And when I see that, it's hard to get really bearish here in the near term. Now, again, we're looking for a relief rally. That's, I've made that clear. And that's really all we're looking to play out of this. But, we can make some money on this. I'm going to do it. So nice little test candle here for the Russell. Inside bar pattern on the daily. Same thing with the spiders. Little test candle starting to bid up. And, same thing as yesterday, kind of a doji candle. Don't really have as much of a doji on the SPY today, although we could, if we get a bid here at 330, that certainly could happen. But again, inside bar starting to form on the spiders. Same thing with the triple Qs. So here you go. There's an inside bar. Nothing wrong when I see markets consolidate sideways. We're above the 20-period moving average again, so there is, a chance we could base to get up through this red bar here. And that's really the bottom line. Now, the one thing that I would say kind of throws a wrench into that, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but you can see on the intraday, well, maybe you can't really see it that easily, but around 12 o'clock, 11:30, the Qs actually, so the Qs were down less than the SPY all day long, except for about an hour or two, around 11:30 to about 1 p.m. They were actually down basically the same. So they were down about 70 basis points together. So the Qs started to underperform. Now, that was a bit of a warning flag. Obviously, they've recovered now, so that's a good sign. But a lot of that has to do with bonds. So the bond yields here, 10-year, got a pretty nice bid here this morning. You can see an intraday gap. This is not very common to see an intraday gap that big. And now they're kind of consolidating bullish. So looking into tomorrow, yields are actually looking okay here. And they've actually negated this kind of this little mini head and shoulder pattern here with the close today. That doesn't mean that they can't still be in backing and filling mode. This red bar has got to be good resistance. It could easily get rejected by the end of the week, and we'll have to wait and see the weekly close here. That will tell us a lot more, but bond yields did get a nice bid today, and that would be kind of the one kind of blemish that I could look at moving forward. Now, maybe it reverses tomorrow, especially if we surge here. It does look like like I've been saying, we're putting in a nice bullish pattern here, and look at the VIX here. So breaking down below this trend line, if the VIX loses 25, we will surge in the equity market. So just be aware of that. But the VIX is cracking below this trend line now, and it's starting to dip down here. We see the UVXY as we get into the 3:30 time frame is starting to dip down. So we'll continue to watch that. But overall, you know, not a terrible day here for the markets. Let's look at a few sectors. So Dow Transports, again, test candle just like everything else, and basically hugging that 20 moving average, but you have an inside bar, a lot of supply in this candle. So again, probably needs to do some back-end filling if it wants to push through that, and I don't see any problems there. Same thing with the semis. Again, test candle on light volume, nothing wrong with that. Inside bar, hugging the 50 period moving average, IGV. So cloud software, this sector is leading today, up 1% here, but still an inside bar pattern, and that is leading because Salesforce reported earnings yesterday, and you know, nice little pop there. So Salesforce up over 10%, stalling out at that 50 moving average, but that is helping cloud software. This has been a beaten up name as well. Adobe and Oracle getting a little bit of sympathy there. So nice move there for cloud software as it is outperforming today. So we talked a little bit about yields, but again, we're looking at this inside bar, or this red bar here. If that, you know, again, we did reclaim the 20 period moving average, so we got to respect it. But we'll see. If it can't take out this red bar high, I still think yields are in backing and filling mode. The 30 year is holding up pretty well as well, reclaiming the 20 period moving average. So we'll have to continue to watch that. HYG continuing to pull back. But again, look at this surge here. No surprise that it had to do some backing and filling there. But overall, nothing terrible about the pattern. So we'll just leave it at that for now. Let's move on here. So let's look at home builders. XHB, nothing terrible going on, just like consolidation pattern, like the rest of the market. Same thing with ITB and VNQ, same kind of deal. Basically a test candle to that 20 period moving average, and now looking like it's going to close inside of that green bar again. So a good look there for VNQ, all things considered. Financials, also a nice impressive reversal. There's XLF. Kind of flirting with this green bar low, but again, nothing terrible. If you look at like the KRE, I like this reversal here on the KRE. That's closing below, or excuse me, back above the green bar low and back inside of this green bar. So nothing terrible. I like these test candles that I'm seeing, guys. KBE, same thing across the board. I'm seeing all these test candles, XBD here as well. So again, I like those patterns, and we'll see if we can get some more, you know, maybe more backhand filling, or, you know, again, if the VIX gaps down tomorrow, it's going to be, I think we get a surge up into that 420 area on the spiders. But overall, you know, I can't really find anything too wrong with any of the patterns. So anyways, let's move on to energy here. So crude, really a quiet day, all things considered. It did back off the highs, and it's still inside of this candle here. I told you guys 120 was going to be pretty stiff resistance, and that has been the case so far. So it is backing off of that level. We'll see what it does. You know, if it starts to go sideways, it could put in a bullish pattern. But overall, right now, I'm kind of like a neutral-ish to upside bias on crude, just based on the higher lows here. But if this, you know, if we get a sharp, you know, high volume sell-off, that could change. And then really it would be this pivot here is kind of the big level for me. And that may coincide with that 100 moving average and this trend line, depending on if and when it were to get down there. So that's kind of the area I'm watching. XLE, kind of an inside day here. It did, you know, get a nice bid off the lows though. Chevron, inside of that engulfing reversal. Exxon, same thing here. XOP, actually getting above yesterday's open here. So good look there for XOP, and OIH inside of yesterday's candle. So nothing too new to report there. Nat Gas, nice bid off the 20 moving average. So Nat Gas is holding up really well. This has been a tough trade here. It's just, you know, it's overbought, yes, but it's trending up, and every dip has been bought until it breaks this 20 moving average and confirms below that. I would avoid it right now, but, you know, I would love for it to correct down to that $7 handle, and that 50 moving average just really hasn't been in the cards lately. But, you know, Nat Gas holding up, and you got to continue to respect that. So like yields, we talked about the dollar yesterday a little bit, how it was softer. Well, it actually recovered a little bit today. Got a bid off that 20 moving or that 50 moving average, like we were kind of expecting here. So a nice bid there, and maybe that's, you know, maybe that's what's going on with yields. Maybe it's just a bit of a dead cat bounce off that 50 MA. So it could just be a reflex bounce, a technical bounce here. If the dollar can't reclaim that 20 or this red bar high, then it could head back lower and break that 50. And you break that 50, you're going right to 100, and then ultimately I think 99. That's the big level there, which is what I've been telling you guys pretty much every day here. Gold. So remember yesterday we had this kind of a reversal candle. Well, and I said, look, let's see what tomorrow's close looks like, because we might reverse it. And we did. So nice little pop here for gold. You know, it's up just 12 basis points, but, you know, it had, you know, tested lows here and came off of that, reclaiming the 200 and 20 period moving average, so nothing terrible. Again, if this continues to consolidate a little bit, I like this for a move up here. I like what gold's doing right now. Silver also, again, had an ugly reversal candle yesterday, but recouped a lot of those losses today and reclaimed that 20 period moving average. Take a look at GDX, also an inside day there as well. I forgot to mention yesterday, by the way, Yamana buyout target. So a little bit of M&A activity in the sector that is helping the GDXs back up 4% after that fade yesterday. But so a little bit of M&A in the sector can be good. SILJ gapping up and staying inside of yesterday's candle, but reclaiming the 20 moving average. So again, not a terrible look here. I'd like to see a little bit more consolidation on these metals, and I think they can possibly move higher. Platinum getting a nice bid, stalling out at that 100, 200 kind of necktie right there. You also had this pivot, but a nice bid there for platinum today. And palladium still kind of struggling with that upper trend line there, but you know, it's hanging in there for now, so we'll leave it at that. And then copper, one of the stronger metals here. So we had that, it had that reversal yesterday like everything else did, but it was able to reverse a lot of that. And you know, it's above yesterday's open. So again, this can flag, you guys know it, 440, 445, 450, somewhere in that range. That could have upside to that area. And then finally, we'll talk about Bitcoin here. So Solana did get halted today. So that is kind of putting some pressure here on crypto. I did not read the full story. I just heard that it got halted. So forgive me for my ignorance there. But a little bit of a dip here on Bitcoin, holding that 20 period moving average right now. We'll see if it can recover. You know, it's not a terrible look here, but you want to see it recover by tomorrow. You don't want to see this continue, and you definitely do not want to see it break this green bar low. Let's look at Ether here. So same thing. You don't want to see it close below that green bar low. That would be a pretty good sign of weakness, but we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now, and we'll go off the strong one, off of the best of breed here, which is Bitcoin. As long as it can hold that 20 and that green bar low, I'll give it kind of the upside bias here in the near term. All right, so flipping back over here, let's take a look at the spiders again. So we're fading just a touch here, basically holding up. We'll see what it does into the close. Again, I don't expect a whole lot. We got about 23 minutes left in the day here. Dow is starting to bid up here. Russell is hanging in there okay. We're getting a little bit of a bid here on the spiders. Let's see Apple. Apple reclaimed 149, so let's see if we can push above 150 here. But overall, not a terrible day. Again, test candles across the board. You see the spiders there, triple Qs, IGV, semis. The one I really like here is the KRE. I love that test candle, and I like this test candle on the Russell closing back inside of that green bar. So nothing terrible here on the charts, and we'll see what we get tomorrow. We'll see if we can get maybe another leg up in this market here moving forward. Anyways, guys, take care. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to go out for my birthday dinner in a few hours, but you guys take care, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.